Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me today is my guy, the Doc at Spin Doc Sports. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Well, not too bad. I was just telling you, it's pouring rain here right now in Minnesota. But I'm inside and in a nice little climate controlled office, ready to help people make some money.
Yeah, no, I was saying you're going raw dog for us today, and I'm very excited. This
No,
is
no island background today. Nope. This is
oh, this
this
is
is
all business today,
this
and
is
I
my
love it.
real background. It's very boring.
That's very funny. No, I'm very excited today. Today's gonna be an interesting show. I got a surprising amount of DMs about this card today because earlier today Jimmy said he didn't like it. And I was going through. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Whatever. There's some spots, maybe, perhaps, but it seems like there's a lot of energy for this card, and I'm excited to go through it with you, Doc. So this should be a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
let's do it.
And of course, we're hitting around numbers, so let's celebrate. Say hey plays 1/3. Say hey plays 130 begins with the Yankees versus the Rays here. A very interesting matchup because this line's already dropped even more since I made the graphics. Minus 130 for the Yankees right now. I believe is plus 108. Let me double check now. Plus 108 for the Tampa Bay Rays and Corey Kluber. What an interesting game this is because the Yankees have just been absolutely horrific. And it seems like an obvious bet the Rays spot, but I don't know. It seems like everyone is today, I guess. So I ultimately I don't know what to do with this game yet, Doc. Domingo Herman, excuse me, pitched well against the Red Sox last time out. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 2 walk. But it seems like every day it's like Yankees starter goes out there, pitches well. Yankees offense does not contribute, and then they fall apart from there. And or it's the other way around on given days. It's all right. Well, the starter gave us a good start or a bad start, and our offense is picking us up, but we just keep giving up runs, and it's just one of those days where you just can't keep pace. So, I ultimately I obviously opt towards fading the Yankees here, Doc. I know you're talking about props here with the pitchers and stuff with Kluber, but it seems like Kluber past record it does have a success with against these Yankees.
Yeah, this is a pass for me overall, all around. However, if I briefly did look at Herman's over prop, but it's 4.5 juice to the over at minus. Well, it was at minus 155. A lot of things support this here. The Rays have been pretty free swinging lately, so they are. Uh, 25th in contact outside the zone since the trade deadline. They are 28th in contact inside the zone. However, when I look at Herman, he's had a really up and down history or so far this year when it comes to strikeouts. So minus 155 juice is probably not something that I want to pay for a pitcher like Domingo Herman. And then with Kluber, I don't really have a lean here. You are correct, is that he has some pretty good history against the Yankees. The other thing that I looked at too from the over perspective is that the Rays are traveling after today because they do play again tomorrow. So typically on a travel day, you
Yeah.
do see teams try to be a little more aggressive at the plate, trying to kind of keep the game moving, keep the pace. That's especially true when it's a night game and teams have to leave basically immediately afterwards versus like a day game where you get a little bit of break in there. So nothing that's going to put me on or off one way or the other. I'm probably just going to leave this one alone.
All right,
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah, and then also, I've said this on this show many times. The Yankees are actually pretty reasonably priced today for the money line at minus 134 on FanDuel. But just with the way they're playing right now and with how Kluber is pitched against them, I honestly couldn't pick a side if I wanted to on this one.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I think it's a tough one. I think I'm passing here. Obviously, I would not hate fading the Yankees here. And if I'm going to take anything, it'd be a Rays first five money line at minus 105. I've read it, got that written down, and maybe I'll come back to it later on in the show. But ultimately, right as of right now, I'm passing. So we'll see how this line moves and how it operates as the show goes on. Let's talk about the Boston Red Sox versus my Pittsburgh Pirates. Obviously this is a little bit of a conflicting game for me yesterday. I lost my Pittsburgh money line bet due to some obviously horrific defense from the Pirates and a terrible first inning from Mitchell Helen Keller. But today's an interesting one. And I don't know what to do here, Doc, because Roansy Contreras comes back up, and it seems like, for the first couple of starts he's had in the majors, that he's going to be a big piece going forward for the Pirates. But they called him down, and, I did some digging, some sleuthing, and by sleuthing, I mean I just ran one or two articles on the Google machine. They sent him down really because they wanted him to avoid Super 2 status as a player, so he wouldn't get to arbitration quicker, essentially, and pay him more, which is classic Pittsburgh Pirates. And it seems like, according to the article I read, a very common thing they do. So I ultimately was like, why are we getting a plus 130 here? Like, it makes me want to back the Pirates money line again. But I don't want to do that to myself. I really don't. and I want to take the Pittsburgh Pirates in some form or fashion here. And I'll say this might be a little bit of spoiler. I am taking the Pittsburgh Pirates, but you will have to wait till the end of the show and a certain parlay to stick around and figure out what the other leg is. But I'm going to be taking the Pittsburgh Pirates in a form or fashion here. I'll just say now, team total over 3. Very interesting. Just a little bit too juicy for me to play individually. So I'm passing here. I would definitely not bet the Red Sox, and I would probably lean towards taking the Pirates again. But yesterday kind of burned me. I won't lie.
Yeah, I would have to lean here with you with the Pirates. I suspect that this is probably going to be a 1-run game. So taking Pittsburgh at plus 1.5 at minus 125. I am totally fine taking that one. As far as the Pirates on the money line, I'm not sure that I can go that far because, one of the first looks that I always have, every day, for over K props is the Pirates against a left-handed starter. And obviously, I knew that there was one today, and then I'm like, well, there's two sides to this bet. On one side, it's the Pirates versus a left-handed starter. They're striking out 29.8% of the time since the trade deadline. They're striking out close to 30% of the time on the year versus lefties. And then on the other hand, it's Rich fucking Hill. So, his over 4.5 strikeouts right now is at plus 125.
Wow.
You don't normally get that for a K prop either way because the lines are so snug. If you wanted to take it and put it in some parlay to really juice up your bet, you certainly can. However, I am not playing this one standalone because, again, it's Rich Hill. He has failed to hit this number in numerous starts this year. And the fact that he's playing against the Pirates, who, they've been terrible against left-handed pitching from a strikeout perspective. They've been a little bit better at home lately. So, like I said, I completely capped the shit out of Rich Hill this morning and was like, man, I would love to get that plus money right now. But, for my final math, I have Rich Hill at exactly 4.52 strikeouts. That's like my final all-in number for him. And at a plus 120 with some of the shorter outings that he's had this year, I can't go with that one. Like I said, I think that it's probably better served as a piece to throw in. If you have a couple other juiced ones and you want to take a shot on a parlay, go ahead. But I will go ahead and roll with you with the Pirates here. And I will go with the plus 1.5 at minus 125. That's on FanDuel.
Yeah, I like that look. I also don't hate the over from Slow Jams in the chat, but Mike M also mentioning 81% of the tickets and 56% of the cash on the over. Line not moving. A little bit interesting there. Some perhaps interesting bets on the under, I guess. I don't know. By the way, we'll shout out everyone in the chat here. Appreciate everyone for joining us. Brian Watson, Paul Trippy already calling out Cheshire Cat got me a good laugh. I will admit that. So shout out to you, Paul Trippy, and your budding rivalry with Cheshire Cat. Interesting person, human being that Chester Cat is. Is he a human being? I don't know. Johnny Guns, what's up, my man? W. Arthur, Michael Orvalina, Mr. MDR, control your vessel. What's up, my guy? Thank you guys all for joining us. Roko Rogers, Man Bear Pig, thanks for hopping on again with us, my guy. Hope you're always in here. Alex Gagnon, Wine Time Sports. Yeah, that Mariners ninth inning felt really personal to me because that really flipped my day from potentially a winning day, into another loser. So it's just ultimately whatever. It is what it is. Wine time, it happens. There's nothing we can control there. So the ninth inning, 5 spot or whatever it was. So it's whatever. I'm not worried about it at all. Let's move on to this next game, Detroit, Cleveland. And it seems like this is going to be another pass for me. Shout out to Matt Randall, who is on the Cleveland run line, I believe. Let me double check actually what the odds are for that, because maybe I should just jump on it. Because like Matt in the chat says, whenever he's on a Tigers sort of bet, you should probably follow because he knows the Tigers better than most, being a Detroit guy. I'll write down Cleveland run line minus 110, which is not bad at all. Thought it might be a little more juiced. But ultimately, I don't really have any other looks other than that. Cleveland's bats are okay against lefties, 88 weighted runs created plus, but it's Daniel Norris who I ultimately am not going to bet on and will most likely fade, especially when your offense is the worst against righties this year. So it just seems like a pretty easy Cleveland Guardians roll spot. The total at 7.5 is interesting. Maybe it's just accounting for the fact that Tigers don't score at all. So 7.5 is just like, all right, well, Cleveland scores like 5 on their own. We'll see if the Tigers get any there. I don't know. But yeah, I think only play here that I would look at is a Cleveland minus 1.5.
Pass for me here. The one thing I just want to mention is if you wanted to, this is another one of those where there's not a lot of value on the pitcher, but there is on the opponent that he has that he's going against. Cal Quantrill for the Guardians here. Since the trade deadline, the Tigers, they got a little bit better for a very short period of time, but my Lord, they have just fallen off the table when it comes to strikeouts. 31.6% strikeout percentage versus right-handed pitchers on the road. And against Quantrill lifetime, 27.1% K percentage in 70 plate appearances. That's not good against a pitcher like Cal Quantrill, because Cal Quantrill has a whiff rate in the 8th percentile, which means 92% of all major league pitchers get guys to whiff more than he does. However, when you look at Detroit's swing metrics since the trade deadline, outside the zone swing rate, 30th, swinging strike rate, 30th, in the zone contact, 30th, total contact, 30th. If you have been paying attention, you should know how many teams are in Major League Baseball, 30. Dead last in every single one. They have been striking out a ton to some really mediocre pitchers. The problem here is that Quantrill's line is 5.5 at plus 115. I believe that's stayed plus 110 now. But Cal Quantrill very, very rarely gets over gets 5 or more strikeouts. In fact, throughout the course, he did it against Toronto, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically every game prior to that, going all the way back to every start prior to that, going back to May 4th, he has 5 or less strikeouts. So the books decided for this one to give you a little bit of plus money, but then the tax comes in the fact that you're expecting him to get a number that he's hit once out of about his last 13 starts and only twice this entire season. So if you wanted to, again, throw that one into a parlay to get some negative juice ones up there for a better plus money price, go right ahead. But standalone, I don't know if I can play that even against a team that is just swinging abysmally like the Tigers. And then, like I said before, no play on the game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up that way too. A lot of, conflicting factors here. By the way, Wine Time Sports, he's saying he's all over the Tigers plus 1.5 too. So that makes me feel a little worse about it. And by the way, Mike M also saying here 43% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the under, and the line has not budged. Looking like an over spot apparently. So I'd probably agree with you on the face, but I'd probably just pass it at the end of the day. There's other games on this card, and ultimately you don't have to bet every game. So nothing for me here. Now, this game I think is obviously one of the more fascinating games on the card. Let's talk Mets Braves. Scherzer coming back against the Braves here. I'm going to be on the Braves, and that's going to be hard to say. I'm going to be on the Braves team total here. Everyone this morning on Betting with a Bag was on Mets run line, Mets, and this line has already dropped down even more. It was at minus 155, now minus 150. I don't know what they have in the water in Atlanta. I don't know what it is, but they always seem to A, convince their young players to sign great deals for them, and B, revive pitchers somehow. You know, they just find something in these guys. Like Jake Odorizzi. I thought he was always trash in Houston. They trade Will Smith for him, a good reliever in my head. And Jake's been a perfectly good, serviceable arm for them. 4 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs. Last time out at Miami. Miami's obviously not good, but you'll take that. And at the New York Mets before that, in his very first start with this team, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. I think honestly this is going to be an over game, and I'm going to take that team total over. Let me double check here. 3.5 here for the Atlanta Braves at home at even money. I'll take them. I'll take a low number like that with the Braves at home any day of the week. So let's see it again, Max. And I'm pretty sure I made this same bet against him the last time they faced the Braves, and I lost that bet. So will be an interesting spot here to see if I learn my lesson or not.
Yep. So first of all, yeah, you said, you thought Jake Odorizzi was trash. You're 50% correct. Not he was trash. He is. Ever since he left Minnesota, he has just been a very, very mediocre pitcher. Now, that said, for Max Scherzer, interesting fun fact that doesn't really have much to do with the game, but it has to do with Scherzer. Only one Major League Baseball player in history has reached base 4 times in one game against Max Scherzer. And interestingly enough, it's Bryson Stott.
Yeah, I was about to say it was just recently.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just recently. The only player to reach base 4 times against Scherzer in his career. Now, that said, I don't want to stand in the way of Max Scherzer here. That is a scary proposition. It's, kind of like when I look at somebody like Carlos Rodon and look at his K prop, and it's like, God, it's like, do you want to go against that one and, pay juice for an under? I sure as hell don't. Same thing with Max Scherzer here. Even though, he's been Max Scherzer, hasn't really been striking guys out lately. So his line here is 7.5. I haven't projected for right around 8 strikeouts. However, where I pause here is that 3 of his last 4 starts, he has 6 or less Ks, and has just hasn't been getting as many guys to chase as he has before. Now, obviously, he faced the Braves not too long ago. On Saturday, struck out 11 in that game and was absolutely lights out. But however, at home, since the trade deadline, Braves have been pretty good. Strikeout percentage of only 7.4. So strikeout percentage of only 23.4, which is actually really, really good for them, for a team that was K'ing left and right. And the history that we have here, if you take out the 11K game from a couple days ago, Scherzer's K percentage against this Braves lineup, it's okay. It's all right. So I'm not going to touch a Scherzer under K prop against the Braves, but I would lean Atlanta here. I'm not playing the game personally.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I had my heart set on not betting it, but the line just keeps moving down, and I really think that it's just getting people to bet the Mets more and more, and I think that the books might clean up here. Real quick, the batter versus pitchers, for someone I forgot, I didn't see who asked, I just saw someone mention batter versus pitcher. 207 plate appearances against Max Scherzer, a 209 batting average against, 8 home runs, 2 triples and 13 doubles. No one really hits them well per se. 240 Marcell Ozuna, 250 Robbie Grossman if he's in the lineup. And these are obviously, some of these guys might not even be in the lineup or on the IL or something. These are just what Baseball Savant gives you a full roster. Acuna hits him 270 home run and 2 home runs and a triple against him. There's guys that hit him. I mean, Austin Riley to a 143 average, but one of his 2 hits is a home run. So I think that the long ball might be a little bit of an issue today for Mr. Max Scherzer. So
and
Atlanta team total.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
No,
No, go ahead.
no, that was it. I had the Atlanta team total even money.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just personally don't find a ton of value in betting juice this high for road money lines. Especially divisional road money lines. I think that for me personally, the value is on Atlanta, but obviously, I would assume that the Mets win the game here, so that's why I'm just going to not touch it.
Cool. Beautiful. Let's keep on moving. This is a great game to talk about. Definitely add your opinions and your plays in the chat. Everyone hit the like button and subscribe. By the way, I have been trying to compete or combat against a lot of the, I guess, shows back to back on the stream on the channel. I have been trying to combat that as well. So let me know if that helps. And it'll always hit the bell on the channel. It'll give you a little notification when we go live. And that is very helpful when you find the shows. Colorado Rockies versus the St. Louis Cardinals. This line shot up. It was 200 this morning. Now it's 215. Probably rightfully so. I mean, the Cardinals are just really good right now. I don't know what it is against righties. Even we know what they do against lefties. And yesterday was a bit of a sweat. I think it was yesterday or the day before. About the Cardinals team total over 4.5 that I had. The hit by a pitch to lead to the walk off. That was awesome, but. It seems like the Cardinals are just rolling right now, and I'm glad that I picked them to win the division. I had a future on them to make the playoffs as well at about plus 110, so that's going to cash pretty comfortably too. Jordan Montgomery is interesting because obviously the Rockies against lefties is a proposition this month. 89 weighted runs created plus 13th. They've been okay, but I still trust. I'll trust Jordan Montgomery here, and I trust the Cardinals to get some runs here. Low total though. Doc, pretty surprising one. I wonder if I can get a decent Cardinals team total. I'm gonna look that up now. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, so very, very interesting game for sure, especially when you have Herman Marquez, who is facing them in a back-to-back start here. But with Jordan Montgomery, his strikeout percentage at home, in general, but at home against right-handed batters, just 19.8%. Does better against lefties at 26%. But in the Rockies lineup today, they only have two lefties, and one of those is Charlie Blackmon, who very, very rarely strikes out. It doesn't matter if it's against lefties, righties, doesn't really make a difference. So, from a game perspective here, I go back to I've said this many times on this show, to pay minus 215 for a Major League Baseball team on a money line is just not an option for me. For me, the regardless of the perceived gap between the teams, it's not minus 215. So value is on the Rockies. The smart play would be the Cardinals. However, I would not play that standalone. What I would look to do, if you're going to do anything, because I'm personally not going to play this one, what I'm personally would look to do is to play a Cardinals run line, if anything. So, or a team total, as I just saw was put in the chat. I can't drink minus 215 for a single game for a team on a money line. I just can't do it.
No, I agree there, obviously, and I for sure wrote down that Cardinals team total over 3.5 minus 150 for the parlay. This might be a rare 2-pick addition for me for the parlay, but we'll see. Let's keep it rolling. We'll see how it goes. Been a lot of passes. Like I said, this card was not a favorite for a lot of cappers this morning, and it's shaping out that way for us as well. Oakland versus the Rangers here. This was just another on the face of it pass for me. Cole Raggins, I'm calling him Bilbo Raggins, actually, in my head. That's what I've decided his nickname should be. He had a Okay, well, let's put it like this, because I was going to call the White Sox slapdicks, but it seems like the White Sox are about to come back and win that division. So maybe I need to tamper how I've been talking about the White Sox, because it seems like they're back. But we'll talk about that another day when they're on the card, which actually they're the next game, so I lied. We'll talk about them very soon. 4 1/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs versus the Astros at the Astros. Obviously, going to be a tough start. And then the White Sox, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. None of them earned at home. I don't know what to make of them. I don't want to back them, Adam Waller only pitches well against the Houston Astros as well. I don't know what that is. Again, it seems like the Oakland A's just have that secret sauce against the Astros to get their pitchers to pitch well. Cole Irvin had it for a while, and then I guess passed it off to Adam Waller. And I forgot who the first guy of that series was, but ultimately, I just pass on this game as well. This is just a bum fight that I want no part of.
Yeah, it's definitely nothing with strikeout props for this one. I couldn't even begin to predict that one. I will pass on that one all the way. The one look that I am having here, though, is for the first half or first five, the first half team total for Texas and the first half just over in general. So Aller in four of his last five starts, he has allowed 3+ earned runs. And Cole Ragans, just a very, very mediocre pitcher in general. So I will go ahead and I will make the over here. The first five over would be my play here. That would be over 4.5 at -122. I'll go ahead and make that official. Other than that, I want absolutely nothing to do with this dog shit game.
Yeah, I think you betting the over in this game is one of the more surprising things I've heard on this card. I mean, I'm shocked you didn't want anything to do with it, and now you're betting the over.
No. I don't want anything to do with the pitchers and their K props. What I am going off of is Aller's history of, like I said, allowing 3+ earned runs, and then when you have Cole Ragans on the mound, I'm going to count on Oakland to get at least 2. So it's something that I don't know if I'm going to play a full unit on it. I'll probably play close to a full unit on it, but yeah, over first five, over 4.5.
All right, let's move it along. Both these pitchers are garbage, so it makes a whole lot of sense. Let's talk about those aforementioned White Sox. Because it seems like, well, this was the week. This was like the last week. If you are going to play good this week, then you're going to be officially out of it. Like, you need to start playing well now or you're fucked. And the White Sox apparently got that message. Was it the random fan who told Tony La Russa to pinch run Adam Engel and him doing it? Did that spark them? Was it maybe them getting healthy? Did that spark them? Was it? I don't know. Maybe they opted for the major league. They got a cutout of major league. They got a cutout of Tony La Russa, and every day they just take off a little thing, and then hopefully by the end of it, they get a naked Tony La Russa. Maybe that's motivating them. I don't know. But I'm not going to take them today. I don't trust Michael Kopech. I really don't. And it's been good start, bad start, good start, bad start for Michael Kopech. And he had a great start against a shitty Tigers team last time out. And obviously, you know, like it's 6 innings of no hit ball. Like, that's really, really good. But Framber Valdez is my guy. I trust Framber. I think the Astros win today. But I wouldn't hate a first 5 under. I just, at the end of the day, I just cannot trust Michael Kopech. And then if he goes out and pitches well again today, maybe for sure the White Sox get this sweep. We'll officially say they're back. But till then, I'll pass on this game. Unders or nothing for me.
Yeah, from a strikeout prop perspective, so I have actually taken to either very lightly or not even capping the opposing pitcher against the Astros because they have been one of the most schizo teams in Major League Baseball. When I'm on the under, they go over and vice versa. So I have decided that unless it's like just a pristine looking matchup, I just pass on that one. For Framber Valdez, my lean would be on his over Ks here. The White Sox, one of the more aggressive teams at the plate, and have a propensity to chase and be pretty aggressive. As far as the game actually goes itself, you are correct, definitely about the good start, bad start for Michael Kopech. Ever since coming back from injury, for a while there, his velo and his spin were both significantly down, and it cost him in these starts. Those things are both back up right now. In fact, his forcing fastball in his last start against the Tigers was up around 95.7 miles per hour average compared to his season average of 94.9. When he came back from injury, it was probably in the 92 to 93 range. So he's got his velo back up. My lean on this one would be a first 5 under, but I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things where you watch the first couple of pitches for Kopech, you see what his velo is at. If it's at that 95 mark, if it's lower, you don't bet it. If he's there and he's spinning it well, you take a first five under, or you take a live under, maybe. Or this could be a case where Kopech gives up like a run earlier too, and then you bet the live under again. Maybe it's a 9.5. You can take advantage there. Shout out to Noli Knows for mentioning those kind of situations earlier today. I'm betting with the bag, but ultimately this is a pass for me as well, I believe. It's tough. It's really tough. I wanted to play this game because I really like the game, and I'll mention this against lefties since this, I guess, the beginning of this month. 12th are the White Sox. Excuse me, 99 weighted runs created plus. So I think that ultimately, I just can't trust Michael Kopech, man. And I wish I could bet the White Sox here, but I really like Framber Valdez, and I trust the Astros to beat him here. So let's move on to this next game, which I actually have, I guess not a play, but I have action on. I have taken the Milwaukee Brewers against Noli Knows in a stake bet. Eric Lauer versus Tony Gonsolin. It is my I don't know what we're gonna call it here. My hypothesis that I think that Tony Gonsolin's going to fade in the second half of the season, and that has been an utter failure his last two starts. But I feel like those are just explainable starts. Like the Padres start was a classic, first start after the Vince Scully thing. I've said that many times. That was just like destined in the stars to him to pitch well there. And then at the Kansas City Royals, those Royals suck. The Royals suck. That's what they do. I mean, I bet on the Royals that day, and guess what? They sucked. So I ultimately going to trust the Milwaukee Brewers here, who also kind of suck on offense. They're 18th, 92 weighted runs created plus against righties this month. And I did put up that stake bet against Noli. Am I going to move on them here on the show? I'm not 100% sure. Do not know. I want to talk it out, obviously. I want to hear what you have to say, Doc. And obviously, you want to look at the chat, what their thoughts are. But I'll let you go first here, Doc. What do you think?
Yeah, Tony Gonsolin has been obviously absolutely incredible this year. My problem with Gonsolin is coming. If it's not coming tonight, it's going to be coming soon, because prior to this season, his high for innings pitched for an entire season was 55 and 2/3. He is at 116 and a third innings pitched this season. Also, with the news, I think it was expected, but with Walker Buehler going down for the season, they are going to need Gonsolin as one of their main guys in the playoffs. And so, I play a lot of Dodger props. I play a lot of Dodger games. And one thing that I have seen is that Dave Roberts does not let his starters go past 95 pitches. There's like this barrier where he just does not. And actually, while Gonsolin has been pitching still a normal number of innings, if you look at his actual pitch count, he's been down in the 80s his last few times going on the bump. So where I go with that one is, if you look at the Brewers, they are 10th in least percentage of swings outside of the strike zone. And Gonsolin so far for the year only has a 58th percentile chase rating. Where I go with that is that the Brewers have been taking, especially since the trade deadline, have been taking a lot of pitches, seeing a lot of pitches. And if they do that tonight against Tony Gonsolin, there is the potential where they can run up and rack up his pitch count, and they can get him out of the game. There is no scenario that I see tonight, regardless. I don't care if he's pitching a perfect game, where once he hits that 85 pitch mark, 85, maybe if he's in the middle of an inning, Dave will let him finish. He's gone. He's out of the game. And so, with the patience that the Brewers have been showing, especially with some of the guys in the top of their lineup that they are starting tonight, I actually like the first 5 money line for the Brewers on this one.
That makes me feel a whole lot better. I love that analysis. And man, oh man, I hate myself for taking this play. I really hate myself just because it's juiced. Like, I like the play, but if it just wasn't so juiced, I wouldn't take it. I'm going to take the Brewers team total over 3 at minus 120. I obviously, like I said, I don't love the juice, But just give me 2, Gonsolin. If Gonsolin gives me 2, I think Craig Kimbrell can give me some too. I don't know. I get the bullpen. The bullpen, obviously, it seems like it's good, but I have my doubts on how good exactly the Dodgers bullpen is. And obviously, in Top Set saying we're fucking crazy for fading the Dodgers. And we are. We are. The Dodgers are incredible. They've been so good this whole year. They've been on a 2018 Red Sox kind of pace. But we'll see what happens when we get to the postseason, especially because I'll be fading them then. I'll tell you guys that now.
Yeah, and I'll just one more thing about the Brewers' first 5 play here. Plus 142 on FanDuel right now. I look at it from a perspective of expected value on this one. There's far more expected value on with the circumstances that I noted for Gonsolin as well on the Brewers at plus 142 versus the Dodgers at minus 176. I don't think I can do it full game. I think that once Lauer gets out of the game, then you get into the Brewers bullpen, had a few shaky outings here and there. I think that the Dodgers offense can just, they have the highest blow up potential and chance to put up like crooked numbers in innings of any team in baseball. So that's why I'm going to limit it to the first 5. And I am going to count on the Brewers being a little bit more patient at the plate, and then towards the end of that first 5, starting to get to Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah, I also wrote down the over 8, and that seems pretty appealing to me. It seems like the best of both worlds as well. I forgot who said it as well. They were also looking at the 8 as well because they can't bet against the Dodgers, and I definitely do not blame you at all. I mean, it's a fucking tough time. And by the way, Cheshire Cat, when do I admit the theory is wrong? I'll glad if he has another great start here today, I'll start chipping away at it. I guess maybe I was wrong, but like I just think those last 2 starts are pretty easily explainable. Like again, you're gonna have a good start after the Vince Scully thing, the first home start. That's just written in the stars, and the Royals suck. So if he does it here against a Brewers team that's been pretty good, they're not the best offensive team. To keep doing it, then what can you do? What can you do? So it'll be funny to see.
Yeah, and Gonsolin's pitch count was trending in the low to mid 90s for pretty much all of his starts in July. But like I said, only 85 last time against the Royals. Now, part of that I think had to do with the score and the fact that the game was a little bit out of hand. However, I think that it's probably a very, very, very soon that he will be put on a pitch count, especially because of how Dave handles starters. I think that it's coming sooner versus later because, man, are they going to need him in the playoffs?
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. He's going to be a vital piece for them in the playoffs. And ultimately, I guess one of the reasons why I'm not high on the Dodgers. So that's very funny for me to say. Last game on our card here. And I think this game is interesting just on the fact that Carlos Rodon has been, I don't know if so good is the right word, but he's been amazing this year. Didn't get traded, obviously. Combination between a high contract and an injury risk for Carlos keeps him on the Giants. And obviously, the Giants were asking probably a little bit too much for him. But I think this is one of those rare instances where I want to take a team total under for the Arizona Diamondbacks. What's your thoughts on Rodon versus this Arizona Diamondbacks, who since this All-Star or since the beginning of this month, 30th against lefties, only 32 weighted runs created plus. However, that's only in 40 plate appearances, so it's a small sample size.
Yeah. First thing I'll do is whenever possible, I try not to back the opposite pitcher in this matchup in Zach Davies. 1, because I think he's a mediocre pitcher, and 2, because as a human, I think he's a douchebag. But if you know that story, you know it. It was reported not too long ago about his douchebagness. Now, with that in mind, going back to Carlos Rodon, just absolutely wicked stuff, especially at home. Versus lefties at home, striking out 46.9% of them, which is just ridiculous. I mean, it's just absurd. 32.8% of righties. That's right around in line with what his season average is. But don't know the exact lineup yet. But as of right now, the projected lineup has McCarthy, Rojas, and Varsho in the lineup for the D-backs, which would be 3 lefties. So I would expect Rodon to go out there and dominate the same way that he did the last time he pitched against them and the time before that. So this is either a team total under, or this is an alt run line here for the Giants. And part of this could just be my overall dislike for Zach Davies coming into play. But I am going to go with an alternate run line here for the Giants. So right now they're at +1.5, minus 1.5 at +142 on FanDuel. It's actually, I didn't see it out yet on FanDuel, but I'm going to look to take them at -2.5 in this one.
I've got 2.5 at +140 right now on Bovada.
Okay. Yep. That one for sure.
Yeah, I think I just wrote that down as well. Shout out to Marlon wherever he is. Marlon Z's been out there cashing on alternate team total or alternate run lines a lot on these big favorite teams. And I think you're right. I like them as well, -2.5 +140. Very interesting card we have here to dock. Let's recap all of our plays here. And of course, I'd like to start with the Say Hey Parlay this time, because this might be a different Say Hey Parlay. As you guys know, we come together at the end of the show, we get a play for one of each of us, and we put it together in a parlay because people love parlays. People love parlays. You know, it's one of those things. You know, they're not profitable. You won't hit that many of them, but people fucking love them, and that's what we're here to prove today. So I ultimately am going to roll with two plays for the Say Hey Parlay. This is going to be a rare one. I've got St. Louis, yeah, the Cardinals. I always think of Seattle when I say St. Louis for some reason. Over 3.5 -150, and the Pirates team total over 3 at -135. So that'll be very fun. Doc, what is your addition to this?
I will go ahead and I'll add the Giants on this one. I'll have the Giants at -2.5.
See, and great. This is, a perfect chef kiss stock, because this is exactly what I wanted you to do. So now
I'll have the Giants -2.5.
Great. I'm not going to move on the Giants -2.5 individually. Then I'm going to just have them in this parlay, and I will move on both of these. See, this is perfect. Like I said, I wanted to move on it, but I knew you were probably going to pick this. I incepted you to pick it. And now I'm going to calculate this parlay real fast for everyone. Actually, while I do, Doc, go ahead and list the rest of your plays, and I will get back to you guys in a second about this parlay and my picks.
All right. So we just talked about it. Giants -2.5 at +140. I'm also taking the Brewers first 5 money line at +143. Taking Oakland and Texas first 5 over 4.5 at -122. Those are the ones that I'm going to lock in for official plays for the show.
Beautiful.
And then have not decided who my tout K-prop is. It'll be posted on my Twitter account pretty soon. I have my VIP plays out, but as far as which one I want to tout for all the people, I'm still deciding which one to do. But
no rush at all.
Yeah, but if you notice that there's a few pitchers that I talked about more than others, those would probably be the ones that I'm more involved in from a K-prop perspective.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing as always. Derek Parda, answer your question. I'm actually on the Brewers money line for a stake. So I hope that makes you feel a little better. My ROI on stake bets is tremendously low. So that should make you feel a little better today. First of all, the Say Hey Parlay today, 3 legs. I hope you guys can parlay team totals. Some books let you. Some books are kind of finicky on it. You have to put more than 2 in there, or whatever the case may be. Bovada is sometimes weird about it. The 3-legger is the Cardinals over 3.5. And by the way, that was a -150 when we were talking about it. Jumped up to a -180 on Bovada. Over 3 for the Pittsburgh Pirates at -135, and the -2.5 at +140 for the Giants. That equals a +536 parlay there. +536. I literally wrote it down 2 seconds ago at +550, and I did not even get to fucking hit the submit button on it before it moves. So that's hilarious. But +536 is what it is for me. The rest of the Say Hey plays, The Atlanta Braves team total over 3.5 at even money. And I'm going to move on the Milwaukee Brewers over 3 at minus 120 there. So only 3 plays today, but it's going to be a fun day to say the least with this Say Hey parlay because I'm feeling good about this. Feeling good about this one. It'll be fun to see at the least, and obviously Jake Burns doesn't like the minus 2.5 in the parlay. If you don't like the minus 2.5 in the parlay, take the money line. You can make it a little less juicier for you. Take the money line, take the minus 1.5, minus 1.5, still at minus 105 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you can add that there and make it just as good, if not better, for you all out there. So appreciate everyone for joining us. It's been a fun show, Doc. Thank you for joining. Of course, I'd love for you to talk about your foundation. I always love when you talk about it. It gives me the warm and fuzzies, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something important when you're on the show because I like giving you a platform to talk about it. And of course, please pump your Twitter as well.
Yeah, thank you. So at Spin Doc Sports, you can definitely find me there. And feel free to send me DMs, chat me up. Love talking baseball, love talking strikeout props. For the foundation, thank you again to you and Jeff, Jose, for giving me a platform to talk about this. So my mother passed away in 2019 from ALS. She fought it for about 1.5 years. And so she was very, very big into charitable causes throughout her life. So what we decided to do was we started a foundation in her name, the Michelle Gargaro Foundation. And the purpose of it is to raise money to provide caregivers and respite help for families who have a loved one who is stricken with ALS. So we had a charity golf tournament not too long ago, and we raised about $7,500 from that. We did a walk a little bit before that. We raised about $3,000 from that. A couple other fundraising activities, and actually we just donated close to $5,000 to the ALS Association here in Minnesota to, like I said, provide caregivers for families who have somebody stricken with ALS. Because if you know anybody that is stricken with this god awful disease that I wish was eradicated from the face of the earth, the person ends up basically needing 24/7 care, and so a lot of families basically exhaust insurance and go broke trying to, and then it falls on family members. So what the foundation will do is then provide money so that the family can go hire somebody to come in and take care of the person with all of their needs so that the family can have a little break. Because in addition to the person that is stricken with ALS, it's also incredibly taxing on the family as well. I can speak from firsthand experience. So thank you for the platform.
No problem whatsoever. I think it's an important cause. It obviously gets close to baseball as well. And I think that anyone should donate, of course, if you can. I obviously put the link in the chat just now.
Thank
so
you.
if you guys want to donate, the link is there. I'll also, real quick, put the Pub Sports Radio website link as well, because we are also doing a contest this year, the Cappers contest. I'll flash the graphic and then we'll end with the video, obviously. It's $100 to enter, 5 picks against the spread every week. It's going to be a fun time. Compete against us. It will be very, very fun. Obviously, we have the Survivor contest as well. Same thing. Join in, $100. All that can be found on Pub Sports Radio's website right now. And, of course, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Deadline is the first Saturday of the NFL season. The night before the Sunday when it all kicks off. You have to be signed up, submit the picks by then, and it'll be a whole lot of fun. Doc, I hope you join, of course. I don't know if you're a big football guy.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Good. Vikings
guy. Actually, speaking of that, NFL plays, player props, I do those as well. However, much bigger for me is fantasy football. So I've been doing fantasy football for 20 plus years. I'm in Dynasty, I'm in redrafts, have multiple leagues of $200 or more entry fee going, have had it several that are close to 1,000. So fantasy football is just the absolute best for me. So if anybody wants to ever hit me up with any fantasy questions, I'm more than happy to do that.
Say less, Doc. Say less.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Very excited.
I love talking.
Good.
I love talking fantasy. So redraft, dynasty, auction, salary cap, contract years, you name it, I'm in it. So if anybody ever wants to talk fantasy, hit me up.
Well, I am very excited. I just perked up because I have fantasy drafts obviously coming soon, as all of us do. I've got some fantasy drafts with punishments that I especially do not want to finish last in. By the way, one of the ones, and my friends, all we've been in the league for like 10 years now, whatever it has been. One of the punishments that's been floating around is doing a 5-minute open mic night comic set at a comedy club.
I've heard of those,
and I would rather die than do that. So I am. Though I agree with you. Like, I love fantasy football. It's really why I like the NFL, truthfully. But with this baseball season, I'm just completely dove into this. I'm like all about baseball right now, and I haven't done any fantasy football research. So I'm very excited. I'll be able to hit you up, Doc.
Yeah,
so
please do. If you just want some really, really quick advice, a question I get asked every now and then is who is the one player you're not drafting no matter where he sits in a draft? And my answer is pretty universal this year. It's Miles Sanders. I'm not touching him in any draft ever for any reason.
Good. I feel the same way. way. No, thanks.
I don't care if he falls to the 30th round. He will not leave any draft on my team this year. And I could talk for an hour as far as why, but we'll save that for another time.
That is very funny. Doc, I hope when you light your candles and say your prayers tonight that you can include Christian McCaffrey's health in them, because I do have a fantasy league, that aforementioned Friends League. He is my keeper, has been for the last 2 years, along with Austin Eckler. Not a big deal. But I need them to stay healthy. So say your prayers and light your candles.
I will say it as well, because I'm in one of the leagues that I'm in is a rookies only league. So you can only draft rookies in this year's NFL draft. You keep your whole team. It's a full dynasty league. And I actually have McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor on the same team, which is why I love dynasty leagues. Because in a dynasty league, you can do cool stuff like that. So I am praying for his health as well, because that's obviously the core of my team.
Yes, let's say our prayers tonight. Everyone, thanks for watching. It's been a whole lot of fun. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another edition of Say Hey Plays.
We at Pop Sports Radio are doing our own Cappers contest. $100 entry fee. We will all be competing against each other. Every single cent that's put in will go into the prizes.
You've got 5 picks every week. If you go to pubsportsradio.com, you buy yourself that little ticket that you see on the website right there. Just hit add a cart. You buy the little ticket right there. And after you buy the ticket, you'll get an email with a link and a specific password for you to log in, make your picks, and all that good jam.
So it coincides, of course, with a survivor pool. 1 pick per week, sports survivor pool. That's exciting. We're having a Cappers contest, 5 picks against the spread each week, and a survivor contest. We all get to host the victors and roast the losers. The Cappers contest at Pub Sports Radio. All you have to do is go to pubsportsradio.com to sign up.